The June 17th, 2019 Planning and Zoning Board meeting to order. Welcome those who are in our audience and board members. Seemed like a long time since we've seen all of you. And we got somebody that we hadn't seen the last time, who is new to our board. Welcome. We appreciate your service to the town. Do we have any excused absences?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Rondi Fleming said he was going to be out of town, and Ms. Darlene Gardner also asked for an excused absence. She's actually out of the country, so.
Okay. All right. We have two with requests for excused absence. Entertain a motion to excuse the absences of the two members.
Second.
It's been moved and second. All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? All right. The approval of tonight's agenda. You have the time to look over this, and once so, we'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda for the
Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, I'd like to amend the approval of the agenda, the approval of the minutes. I don't have those available for you at this time. We hope to have those by the next meeting. I feel confident we will. Just some logistics didn't work out this time, so we don't have them available for approval.
Okay. We have one amendment. Any other? Entertain a motion to approve the agenda for the June 17th meeting.
So moved. Second.
Moved in second. All in favor, aye? Aye. All right. Election of officers.
So it's that time of year again. So as it stands now, Dr. Gregory Monroe is our chair. Douglas Killian is our vice chair. And I'll open it up to the board for nominations and to vote on the like. So,
Mr. Chairman, I nominate Greg Monroe for chairman.
Thank you.
And I nominate Doug Killian for vice chair.
I'll second that.
All right. There being no any other nominations, we'll vote for chair, Dr. Gregory Monroe, chair. All those in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Mr. Doug Killian as vice chair. All those in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Thank you all for your vote of confidence. Set date and time for August meeting.
So I'm going to turn it over to town clerk for this explanation.
The town council had to move their meeting date and time due to a conflict, and it will be on August the 19th, which then conflicts with your all's meeting time and date. So we're up to you what you would like to do, whether it be date or earlier in the evening. Any suggestions you all have for when you all want to meet for your August meeting?
For myself, the Monday after is the first day of school, and that will probably conflict with my personal calendar. And the 19th would, of course, being with the board. So I couldn't do any earlier on the 26th, and the 19th may be a stretch for myself. So, but I'm not the whole board, so if we have a quorum.
I too won't be able to meet on the 26th. I have a formal commitment.
And I'd suggest even the week before, the 12th, would be appropriate.
That works for my schedule. It's the pleasure of the board to meet the week of August 12th versus August 19th due to a conflict with the town council. Okay. Do we need a motion or put this in, or how do we want to put this in a minute?
I would go ahead and say motion and vote on it.
Okay.
So.
All right, so we have, we can get a motion for the August meeting to be August 12th, 2019.
That'd be at 7, like normal?
Yes, same time, yes.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved in second. All those in favor of the meeting being August 12th, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you. New business.
All right, so the first thing on our agenda for under new business is a zoning ordinance text amendment. This is for the permitted use of tattooing So the applicant is requesting that the zoning ordinance be amended to allow tattooing as a permitted use in the general business district. Currently, it's only allowed in the industrial districts in the town. There is a special requirement currently in the zoning ordinance for tattooing, and that establishes, that states that establishments offering tattooing services must be located a minimum of 1/2 mile from any other establishment offering tattooing services. And that was when done back in 2010. So process, you guys will hear it, make a recommendation. That recommendation will go before the town council in the August meeting.
Do we have the applicants here before? Sir?
Yes, sir. So we got the applicants right in the audience.
If you would address the board, if you would, regarding your application.
You want to take it now? We'll give them a chance to talk after I run through my stuff.
Okay.
If you want to, yeah. Here we go. So, so there's just a copy of the zoning ordinance, the zoning map. So I kind of, working with what I had, you see the stars are potential locations for where this would allow a tattooing operation. Now keep in mind, this wouldn't be the exact location, it's just kind of giving you a reference because there would be a 1/2 mile barrier. So you pretty much would circle these with a 1/2 mile buffer and then one wouldn't be allowed there. So it could potentially knock several of these out of play. But I just wanted to give you kind of a reference where it would be at.
That is the industrial or the general business?
So that's all of them. I went ahead and kind of gave you a broad spectrum of the industrial. So industrial, the industrial is the gray, and then the reds are the general businesses. So right now, they are allowed in industrial. So you're going to have these areas right here. What you're going to add with the zoning amendment or the ordinance amendment would be the red stars here.
Ryan, could you please point out Main and Mill, so I have that intersection?
So Main and Mill would be right in this area. So you got, so all this would be like Beacon Drive, Chick-fil-A, all that stuff right there. This will be the credit union, Trip property back there. This will be Wintergreen Commons where the Lori Ellis extension just went through. And this right here would be, that's where the armory is down here. So comparable municipalities, I just kind of want to show you what the other guys are doing. Greenville, they do allow them, so they've got them in a couple zoning ordinances or zoning districts, but these all equate to our general business. So most notably, they allow them in their downtown districts and on their fringes out there. They do allow them in other places that would be like out on Fire Tower as well. So very comparable to what the applicant's asking right now is allowed in the city of Greenville. Town of Clayton, very comparable with us, size-wise, population-wise. They also allow it in a B3, which is what they call their highway business, but it's very comparable to our general business. Smithfield, the exact same. That they actually call their B2 a general business, so they do allow them in their general business district. So I'm going to run just through a couple regulations. So above what we would regulate as far as location goes, tattooing establishments are regulated by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. They assure safety by sanitation, infection control procedures for permanent color technologists, and must follow to maintain that tattooing permit is issued by the department through local health departments. So no person shall engage in tattooing without first obtaining a tattooing permit from the department. They must apply to the department in person. Upon receipt of that application, the department acting through the local health department, which will be Pitt County Health Department, they inspect the premises, the instruments, the utensils, the equipment, and the procedures of the applicant to determine whether the applicant meets the requirements. If the applicant meets the requirements, the department shall issue a permit, and the permit is valid for 1 year, and they must renew it annually. I put all that in there to show you that a tattooing establishment is well maintained by the state. For them to operate, they've got to be clean, they've got to be sanitary, they've got to offer a safe place to have it done. So right now, this is our table of permitted uses. It's kind of hard to see just because there's so much in here. But down here, right now, there's only one spot that's opening, or it's allowed, permitted by right, and that's industrial. The way we're gonna change it, just gonna add an X right to our table of permitted uses in general business if it's approved. So the only thing that's gonna change is that the zoning district where it's allowed, the special requirement would stay for the half-mile buffer, and everything else will stay the same. So with that, the applicants are present. Debbie's here with the Chamber of Commerce to answer any questions you guys would have, and I'll answer any questions right now.
Brian, I have a question. My question is, what you're really asking, what is really being asked here, is that we recommend a change to the zoning law.
Absolutely.
That's what this is about, a
Yes, sir.
change to the zoning law.
Yes.
Okay,
So
thank you.
the map doesn't change at all, it's just the text itself. So the text would allow that permitted use in a general business rather than just industrial. All right. Yeah, and I'll turn it over to the applicant or Debbie if she wants to say anything, just to give a voice.
Hello, I am Debbie Avery with the Chamber of Commerce here in Winterville, and I'm very familiar with the Bynums and their present business. They've had a business for 7 years and are enlarging and taking over a second storefront and have remodeled a building that was not being used into a very nice barbershop and studio for the tattooing. Back in the day, tattoos were something for Marines and motorcycle gangs. That has changed. They're actually calling this a art gallery, where it's a safe place for people to come and get their tattoos. I have been in their business. They're a member of the chamber, and I would recommend or suggest that this would be a wonderful thing for them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, my name is Marlo Bynum. Me and my wife, as she said, we've been in Winterville for over about 7 years, and we decided Winterville years ago to start our business, which was a barbershop beauty salon. Now I'm at the point where we was at, a lot of people was leaving our area, and we was like, how can we build back up the area? And what we're doing now, we took the barbershop and the studio of the art gallery, and we just purchased the building right next door, because right there in the Winter Green Commercial Parks, we had so many tenants just leave within the last 2 to 3 years. And when I was looking at Greenville, I'm like, I really want to stay in Winterville because we started here in Winterville. And so what I did, I just came up with a blueprint, and me and my wife just thought about it, and we just started working towards it. And we actually just been working towards this business ever since probably about 4 months now. Like I said, it's a real upscale place. Like she said, tattoos was looked at back in the days as biker gangs, Marines, but now today we're talking people in government, every type of professional jobs, using for culture, religion, just a part of life that we all share. And everyone that's a part of the team to work in the gallery, I mean, they're all professionals. We uphold everybody up to standards, me and my wife, with our beauty salon and barbershop now. It's just something that we feel like the town of Winterville, where we at, we really need, because we just seen so many people just walk away from that part of Winterville. And by us being in the back, we do fight hard to keep that type of attention on us so people know that we're in the back because the way the building's set up. But since we've been there, I mean, we had just so much success with the barbershop and hair salon. And I really feel like this is a new market that we're familiar with, but just being in Winterville, I think it'll really build back up that community where people probably want to come and be a part of that commercial parks over there. So we just here to ask you guys, hey, you know, if y'all see fit, we would love you guys either come out and look at it and see that it's something totally different. We put a lot of time and effort into this place to make it safe.
So help me again, where are you currently located at?
It's off of 113 Firetown Road. It's called Winter Green Commercial Parks. Right there, BB&T Bank sit on Firetown Evans, and it's that commercial parks right behind it.
Okay.
I don't know, it's still,
I'm not
where is
clear.
that? Sorry.
It's right behind Shorter Door,
The fish
Oh,
place.
okay.
CD's Grill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what your projected new business would be adjacent to your current business, is that what I'm hearing?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
So you're already there, you're operating now. and
Yes.
you're a business now.
Yes, ma'am.
As a barber shop
As a barber shop,
As a
yeah.
barber shop
Yes.
and beauty salon.
and a beauty shop.
And beauty shop, yes.
Okay, so you bought the adjacent building or place, put the tattoo shop in.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's all located right there together.
Yes, everything right there. And in the current future, we hope to get other business down the other end because, I mean, it's all open. So we just looking forward to just staying right there in that loop in Winterville.
Okay. Are there any other questions for the applicant, for Ryan?
So I will say, staff would recommend approval of this to stay consistent with our surrounding communities and the comparable ones I showed you. As far as a beauty shop or a salon or a tattooing establishment, they're really low intensity. So it would be kind of the same as, all the requirements would be the same as a beauty parlor. As far as parking and that, they got ample room for all that. So as far as the use goes, staff doesn't see a problem with recommending approval at all.
I make a motion that we approve this change in zone.
Okay, motion been made to approve the request. I hear the second. Okay, it's been moved and second. All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Thank you for your service to Winterville.
All right. Next thing on the agenda is the final plat for Holly Grove, Section 1. So locations just out on Church Street. So this is the one that's right across from the Operations Center that houses Parks and Rec and Public Utilities, or Public Works. So you can see it's 29 lots, almost 14 acres in this section. Zoning is R 12.5. So give you a little bit of history. If you guys will remember, P&Z saw this a little over a year ago in February of 2018 and recommended approval of that preliminary plat. And council saw that in March of 2018 and approved it. Construction plans were then approved in summertime, June 25th of 18. So just to familiarize yourself with the site again, this is the site. There's the operations center. So Lori Ellis is up here. This is Carroll Crossing, and that's Mellon Downs. So there's the map overlaid on top of it. It's kind of hard to see, but you'll see these are the 29 lots. So not the whole thing is going to be, obviously it's going to be phased out because it's Section 1. That's all I've got for this presentation. I'll answer any questions you guys have at this point.
What did you say it was
R
over
12.5.
there?
Yeah, everything complies with. Yeah, by the time we get it to you, we've kind of nailed it. I mean, and you saw the process. Obviously, we've been through the steps to get here. So there's they will still have to post a surety. If you've ridden by the site, you can tell there's a little bit of work to do, but they'll post a financial surety to make sure all that's done before council hears it, and then they'll be able to secure approval from there based on that surety.
Any questions for staff? What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve
Second.
and second. Okay, all those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Stands approved. Old business.
All right, old business. So, stormwater ponds and fencing regulations. So, I had this big presentation ready to roll, kind of piggybacking off what we did the last time we were here, but I was talking with Travis Wellborn, our Public Works Director. Turns out that this is not under my umbrella. This is under Stormwater Advisory Board. So I've got it on his agenda to go over at their next meeting. I'd be happy to discuss anything you want to at this point, but it's kind of moot if we do. I've kind of I asked him to come speak to you guys, and after a short discussion, it was determined that it shouldn't be before you guys, but it should be before the appropriate board, which should be the Stormwater Advisory Committee, which I fully agree with. Let those guys work it out, and then make their recommendations to council as far as what needs to be done there. I will bring a report back to you guys, obviously, since we kind of dealt with it in the past. Let you know where we're at, let you know what they decide. But I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Brian, I'm the person that brought this up, so I would ask that you let me know when the Stormwater Committee meets.
Sure.
And I'm
yeah.
sure that that's an open board meeting that I could attend,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
because I do have reasons for it, and I want to
Oh yeah, and,
address it.
and I discussed those with Travis as well, and why it was on our agenda, what was the reason behind it, and so he's fully aware of kind of where it started and all that stuff. But yeah, absolutely, I'll make sure you guys are informed. As a board, as a whole board, I'll make sure that invite goes out to everybody. Make sure you're well aware of where it's at. So, but.
Staff report?
So I don't have much more to report from you guys. We're working on our land use plan. We're winding down on that. We've got a public meeting scheduled for July 11th, so we should have a full draft document along with the map itself in front of that public meeting. So we'll go out there with a full draft of the document, the map for public viewing and comment. Barring any comments that would be, earth-shattering or anything, we should have a good product before council at their August meeting for them to see and digest, and then hopefully have it adopted in September. Look forward to it. What they've got done so far is really, really appealing. Like as far as the layout goes and just the look of the document, it's a whole lot different than your just run-of-the-mill, just page turner. It's got good graphics in it. It's got the layout itself is it's done a little bit different than we've done in the past, which I really don't want to say excited about because it's not really something to get excited about, but it's a good product. So I'm looking forward to seeing the finished product. But other than that, we've got a lot of development going on right now. You've seen DR Horton move in, take over a couple of subdivisions, so they are ramping up their stuff. They got about, I would guess at least a dozen to 15, 16 houses under construction right now. With this one going in, Holly Grove, you'll see a lot more construction kick off right now. It's the dog days of summer when people want to get stuff moving on the ground. So we're shaking and rolling in the planning department for sure. But that's all I got from staff comments. Unless Stephen's got something.
Are there any comments from the board?
I do, Mr. Chairman, may I? When I joined this board back 2011, 2012, I moved from an alternate position to a permanent position, which was seamless. It just flowed.
Right.
At this time, correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, we do not have an alternate for our corporate area.
You are correct, and that was brought up at the council meeting and there was a little confusion that whether it was my end or the council's end, didn't fully grasp what was asked, and I don't know, but yes, you're right. I plan to rectify that, hopefully at the next council meeting. So,
Okay, in the application for volunteer board positions, there's a rating system of what board
right.
you want. And there was some confusion who to nominate. Mike, by the way, welcome to the board.
Yeah, I was going to get to that too as well.
I think it would help to take some of this out if in asking for a person to take an alternate position, that we as a board, or you as our figurehead, or however you want to say it, take the person that's got the most recent or the longest holding application, approach them and see if they would want to take the alternate position of our board. If they say no, fine, then go to the next one, but recommend one. I think that's a better way, and I think this board has a little say in it.
It's a struggle when we've got multiple applications and it's a council-appointed position. So we try, this is something that we as staff internally have talked about. But we try not to push the council in any way and try to create a recommendation because it is a council. So try to take the politics out of it, give it to them, and let them do it. I know it's not perfect the way we do it. It's still being worked out, but and Don can probably talk a little bit about it, just because he's worked with the town manager on filing those applications and keeping them on hand and making sure we've got a good record of who's applying for it.
Recently, we've spent some additional time, as best I can tell, than had been for some time, is getting applicants. This time around, we advertised for applicants. I think we learned a little bit about the application process. I've seen some things that I'd like to recommend as far as how we structure the application and then how we will process that. It appears that applications for all the advisory boards will be coming through me, questions and that kind of thing. And then we'll set down for the 4 advisory boards that are present. And that's this group here, the Board of Adjustment, Stormwater Advisory Committee, and Recreation Advisory Board. And try to do, I think, what you're saying a little bit, when we get applicants. I think it's going to get a little bit more difficult as we have more interest in the positions that are there. My understanding for past is sometimes we struggled to get applicants. So it's a work in progress. We're always open. I'm open as I work more with the process to, first of all, get a process down in black and white that we can work with, and then to help the others as we make the recommendations to the council. And as Brian said, ultimately it is their decision for that process.
Bear with me a second, okay?
Go ahead.
Of those 4 positions, there was one rated 1, 2, 3, and 4 by the applicants. And the suggestion I have is to, when these applicants go to be presented to the board for an opening, that they be asked if they would accept this place because it may not be their primary application. There were some applicants that were not applying for this position, and they were kind of overlooked. But they maybe would have, if this would have been opened up to them, they might have, wanted to take it. I'm not saying that we have to have a special presentation, but if you have an applicant for the stormwater as their primary, and they might want to take this position because nothing has happened in the other spot, well, they should have that opportunity. So they could be contacted before being presented to the board and open them up. This person will take it, this person will take it, and this one doesn't want it. So that narrows it down.
Absolutely, and I can't disagree with you at all. And that's one of the struggles you have is when you've got multiple people with the number 1 for planning and zoning, and you've only got 1 space. Do you even consider the guy who put Board of Adjustment as number 1? So now, do you put him in the fold, or do you leave him out, or do you put him in the fold and notify him that, yeah, you may get appointed? It's just one of those things where it's...
I'm suggesting that you call them, see if they're even interested in the openings. And if they're not, that solves it. But if they are, they should be put into their hat should be put in the ring.
Agree.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and it's, I'm hopeful that we have that kind of problem in the future, in that we've got more applicants than we do positions, because I've noticed, that we really struggled to have people Because I think what that says to me anyway is that we have residents that are interested in being a part of
I agree.
our government.
And I remember when I was an alternate, I was invited by Alan to attend every meeting. And maybe I sat out there, and if somebody was absent, the alternate just slides up here.
Yeah,
That's
for
the way
lack
it
of-
should be.
For lack of a better term, the alternate is a member of the board. You can fully debate everything. The only thing you would lack is the privilege to vote on a recommendation. So
Thank you.
that's all I got, Mr. Chairman.
Anything else?
Chairman, I'd like to thank everybody at the council for nominating me and voting me in to be on this board. And I just want y'all to know that I'm going to put forth 100% and really interested in doing this. And so I just want to thank everybody and for everybody's support.
You'll receive it, and we appreciate your service likewise, and welcome aboard.
And I do apologize. I meant to introduce Mr. Mike Weldon to the board. If you guys don't know Mike, Mike used to be our chief building inspector for the town. Actually started up the building inspections department for the town of Winterville. So he's got a really good grasp of how things operate here. I'm excited to have him on the board because I feel like every bit of expertise, knowledge that you can get on the board is a win. So I'm excited about having him up there for that purpose. So.
Thank you. All right, staff, we thank you for your hard work and keeping us all abreast of things. If there be no other business before the board, I entertain a motion to adjourn. Then moved. Second. It's moved properly second. All those in favor, aye. Any opposed, you're welcome to stay.
Is that okay with you?